The Mid-Autumn Festival is coming up this weekend, and we are inviting my in-laws over for dinner. The Mid-Autumn Festival is celebrated by many Asian countries. Essentially, it's kind of like a Thanksgiving before Asians. So families would normally gather around and have a nice meal, and the exact date of the holiday changes every year because it's based on the lunar calendar, meaning it follows the moon's phases. And so on the day of the Mid-Autumn Festival, the moon is supposed to be the brightest and roundest of the year. And it's a traditional holiday that celebrates the harvest season. The Mid-Autumn Festival will usually land somewhere between the end of September and the beginning of October. On the menu this weekend, we are going to have some hot pot at home. Hot pot is great for larger parties because there's not a lot of cooking involved. There's a lot of prep work involved. If you've never had hot pot before, you basically have a pot of soup sitting on a stove on top of the table. And then you'll have all these fresh and raw ingredients. Everybody just picks what they like and cook it in the soup. I'm currently sitting in front of an Asian supermarket in Turku, and this market is called Asian Taste Supermarket. This store here is one of the larger Asian supermarkets around. I haven't been to all of them, but I think this one has a pretty large selection of things to get. So hopefully I can find everything at this store. Let's head on inside and have a look at what they have. The owners of this store must be from Southeast Asia because I don't even recognize a lot of the things here. I wasn't able to find the soup base for the hot pot, but I did find a sauce packet, so let's have a look at that. So besides the soup base, you also need a sauce to dip all the ingredients into. And this Little Sheep brand is a good brand. Xiaofeiyang is a chain of hot pot restaurants, and they make their own sauces and also soup bases for sale as well. This is the original flavor. It's probably peanut based. They also have this spicy version here as well. There are a whole bunch of different sauces you can put together to make your own sauce. I personally like the peanut based version, so we're gonna pick up a peanut flavor sauce. You can also use peanut butter and just add hot water to dilute it. And then we're also going to pick up a jar of, what's the English translation? Preserve the bean curd in chili oil. So these are just cubes of tofu basically, and it's preserved, so it's really salty, and you just smash it up and put it into the sauce. I'm also gonna pick up a jar of Lao Ganma, which is a brand that's based on this woman, and it's basically a chili sauce with peanuts inside that you can also add to the sauce if you like spicy things. You can also add Chinese vinegar or black vinegar and also some soy sauce. I've also seen restaurants put out like tom yum paste or even miso paste. You basically just want to experiment and see what you like. So I'm not going to pick up any vinegar or soy sauce today because I already have them at home. But if you go to an Asian grocery store, you will see a variety of sauces. So this one is a sweet soya sauce, and then you also have black soy sauce, so that's just like the basic, and then there's this black vinegar. So this is similar to Chinese vinegar, but I think this is Thai. And then there's also mushroom soy sauce you can also get. Some people even put curry in their sauce, so really it just depends on what your taste buds are craving for. And if you have sriracha at home, you can also add that. You can add hoisin sauce. This is the original sriracha sauce. Okay, so I pretty much have all my sauces here. Now let's go and pick up some produce. This place has a pretty good selection of Asian veggies. It looks like there's a cold section in there. But we're first gonna pick up a taro here. It's a starchy vegetable. Taro is a root vegetable and it has a purple tint to it. Okay, let's head inside the cold storage to see what we have here. We're gonna pick up some of these mushrooms. Ooh, we're gonna pick up some long radishes. Maybe this one. We'll pick up a pumpkin. I don't even know what these are. This looks like a sauna whisk. The package here says young kale. I think this might be good. Maybe we'll get 2 of these. They also have sugar cane here. I might come back for this someday. I used to eat this as a kid. You basically just peel the skin and then chew the inside and then spit it out. It's like natural candy. This is Chinese spinach. We'll get a bundle of this. They also have durian. Maybe I'll also pick up a Chinese cabbage. Okay, now let's go pick up the protein. The star of the show for hot pots will be sliced meat. and I personally like lamb slices. So they sell them in these packages, and they're thinly sliced because they will cook very fast in the boiling soup. This is actually from the UK, which is good. Each packet has 400 kilograms of sliced beef and sliced lamb. I also found a packet of lotus roots. This is really good for hot pot as well. Okay, and here are some fish balls we can get. Fried fish ball, vegetable fish ball with seafood filling, black pepper fish ball, prawn flavored fish balls. Oh, they even have lobster flavored fish ball. Since my father-in-law likes to go mushroom hunting, we'll go ahead and go with the mushroom seafood fish ball, and then just a classic fried fish ball. Let's also get a packet of tofu. This place only has one brand. I think it's pretty firm. You can also throw in some noodles into the hot pot. I like to go with these vermicelli noodles because they come in single packs and it's easy to manage. You can just open up a packet and throw it in for one serving each. If you've been a long-time viewer of my channel, the hot pot stove that I got on sale at Lidl, actually we had to return because it was clearly designed by somebody who does not know how to hot pot. The part of the stove where you would put water and boil things was so shallow that it was like a joke. So we went ahead and took that back to Lidl and got our money back. My husband likes to cook a lot, and that's why we have the countertop stove as well. Since most stoves in Finland are not gas stoves, some electric stoves really don't heat up fast enough for his liking, so he purchased one of these. And I realized that we can just use that for hot pots. In terms of the pot that you use, if you are only having a hot pot with 2 people, you can definitely have a smaller pot. Since we'll have 4 adults and 2 kids tomorrow, I'm gonna go ahead and use this pot right here. Hot pot pots usually don't have a long handle like this. Usually you would get like one of these handles on this side as well, but I didn't want to go and purchase a new pot just for hot pot. I'm just utilizing what we have. If you want to go all out and you want to buy a hot pot, the size is about the same as this, except that they'll have a divider down the middle because some people like their soup base to be spicy and some don't. So usually when you have the pot separated into 2 halves, one side will be non-spicy and the other will be spicy. So to set the table, I like to start off with a small bowl. This is where you will put the dipping sauce. And I will also suggest to have a small plate of some sort on the table as well, because as you're cooking the ingredients in the soup, as you're ladling it out, whatever you're cooking still might be really soupy and there might be a lot of liquid. So I would usually like to put it on a plate and then you kind of just wait for the soup to disperse. And then also it's a good way to cool down as well. So after putting it on the plate for a couple seconds, then I would dip whatever I'm cooking into the sauce bowl. This way you don't dilute your sauce with too much soup. So for the table setting, of course, you'll need a pair of chopsticks. If you have somebody in your party that does not know how to use chopsticks, this is a good tool that I just found today from IKEA. These little bamboo tongs kind of work like chopsticks. The reason being you want to pick stuff up with your chopsticks and put them into the soup. So if you can't use chopsticks, it's kind of awkward to use forks and stuff, and it's just much easier to pick things up with little tongs. And then I will also have a soup spoon as well. I don't actually own any Chinese soup spoons. Maybe I should go get some. But I like to have spoons because you can also spoon some of the soup and put it over rice. You can also catch whatever you're cooking on here too with a spoon. All right, and then one other tool you'll need is a tiny ladle with holes. So I actually had to visit 3 different Asian supermarkets here in Finland in order to find this. And this was tucked away in a box behind the register and I really had to dig for it. The sizing of this is really nice. For reference, it's about the size of a spoon, maybe a little bit larger. But if you don't have a lot of Asian supermarkets near you and you're not able to find this, when I was at IKEA today, when I found these tongs, I also found a tool there that you can use. It's kind of like a mesh ladle. It was a little bit larger than this, but it does the job. So you can also go to IKEA too, in case you can't find one of these at Asian supermarkets. The great thing about hot pot is that you can prepare ahead of time instead of on the day of your hot pot meal. Since it's hard to prep anything with 2 kids running around, they're asleep now, so I'm gonna go ahead and do most of the prepping tonight. Like I mentioned, you are not cooking anything beforehand, you're just prepping it. So we're gonna do some cutting, some washing, some plating maybe also. Plating is also really fun for hot pot. It just looks really cool when you have all the ingredients laid out nicely. So I think I'm gonna do that and put some saran wrap on top so that tomorrow it'll be easy breezy and we'll just get on to hot pot. Here's an overview of all the ingredients we're going to be prepping the night before. Around the Mid-Autumn Festival time, if you go to an Asian supermarket, you're likely to find round-shaped desserts that look like this. So these are called mooncakes, and this is the traditional dessert to be eaten during the Mid-Autumn Festival. They're always round because they are mimicking the shape of the moon. They're called mooncakes, but it's nothing like a Western birthday cake. When you cut into it, the inside is filled with a paste that is often flavored with lotus root or red bean or mung bean or custard. This one in particular is a custard mooncake. And then this one here is white lotus with egg. And because the moon is said to be the roundest and the brightest during the Mid-Autumn Festival, often you would also find an egg yolk on the inside of the mooncakes. Because again, you're celebrating the harvest and the full moon. And so a round yellow egg yolk is the perfect thing to be putting in here. Since we already have a huge head of taro, we might as well make another dessert. So I'm gonna be making a Taro Coconut Sago. It's kind of like a porridge, but instead of rice, we're going to be putting in tapioca pearls. And this is what the package looks like. These tapioca pearls are very similar to what you would find in bubble tea, if you know what that is, but they're on a smaller scale. And then you also need a can of coconut milk, as well as some rock sugar, which is just huge chunks of sugar. If you are not able to get your hands on rock sugar, you can just go ahead and use the white sugar that you might already have in your pantry. I don't suggest using honey or brown sugar because it really alters the taste. I'll go ahead and leave the recipe that I'm using for this down in the description below if you want to follow along and try it as well. It took me going to 3 different Asian supermarkets here in Finland in order to find this, but this is a soup base you can use for hot pot. The store that had these also had different flavors. They also had a lot of spicy ones and then also a tomato-based soup as well. On the back, it says just go ahead and add this into water, and then you can also add 3 to 4 slices of ginger and 2 slices of spring onion. I might also put in some goji berries as well, just because I have them. And then you want to turn on the stove and make sure the soup is boiling before you turn it down. If you have trouble finding a soup base for the hot pot, you can also make your own. You can boil a big pot of bone soup, like this is supposed to mimic what that is. You can also use miso. I've gone to a hot pot restaurant before where they had miso soup base as one of the options. So let's go ahead and make the sauce real quick. If you go to a hot pot restaurant, you will see a bar of different type of ingredients you can use to make your own sauce. You can pretty much put in anything you like. So I like to have a peanut base. So since I found this pre-made sauce base, I got 2 packages. I'm gonna mix it together and then taste it and then see what else we need. Okay, so the ingredients here: water, sesame paste, peanut butter, garlic chive flour sauce, fermented tofu, which I have here, so I can also add more. Sugar, flavoring, flavor enhancer, thickener, preservative, salt, sunflower seed oil. Oh, that's it. Okay, so it has a sesame and peanut butter base. So that's a good start. If it tastes good, I might just leave it as is and then put out the rest of the jars that I got on the table for people to mix up their own sauce. Oh man, it smells so good. I'm getting hungry. Okay, well, it doesn't look very good. It's a sauce after all, but let's give it a taste. It's pretty legit. It's definitely quite salty. So I don't think I will be adding any more of this, what do they call it? It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm so tired. Fermented tofu. I will probably do a little bit more peanut butter to make it more nutty and a little bit more sweet, since Skippy's peanut butter has sugar in it, American peanut butter. I had also gotten this peanut flavor sauce. So the only thing I do tonight is I'll just add a little bit more Skippies, and then everything else I'll leave on the table for people to adjust tomorrow to their liking. Oh, and this is the dessert. Cubes of taro here. Maybe I'll add a cube or 2 more of that rock sugar. It's not sweet enough. If you run out of coconut cream or coconut milk, you can also add half and half, or even just straight up cream to make it a little bit creamier. I think it's a little too watery right now, so maybe I'll add a bit more coconut cream. I'll probably fix that and then go to sleep. So I'll see you tomorrow.